Everybody, welcome back. Mega Ruler 31 for MLB DFS. I'm actually going to break down both slates for Saturday because here's the problem. The Mid-Atlantic has a flash flood warning until about 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. So there are a lot of games that probably will not play today with very, very high percentage of rain. So 3-game slate for the early slate. One of them is the game that's Toronto, which is in Buffalo, which is probably definitely not going to play. If it does play, then that's fine. But we're not doing a video for that slate because it's probably only going to be a 2-gamer, and it's pretty simple. For pitchers, you want to take Montas and you want to take Alize. The Arizona pitcher that's slated to start is coming back off the IL, so we don't know even how long he's going to go. Could turn into a bullpen game. So I'm comfortable going with those two pitchers. And then I'm just pretty much stacking the Cubs and the A's. You can get a lot of big bats in there. Contreras, Olson, Chapman, Baez, Bryant. You can play in the outfield, so you don't have to pick between the third base. Lorenzo, if they're all in, and then just fill in with value plays for the last couple spots. Pretty straightforward. For the evening slate, it's a 10-game slate. And again, a lot of these games are in question. First game would be the Mets against Pittsburgh Pirates. And Mets have a 5.5 total. They're against Will Crowe, who's a bad pitcher. If this game plays, I love the Mets as a stack. I think they're a great play. And McGill as their pitcher, I'd even consider playing also in a GPP, not as cash play, but I would not touch Pittsburgh in this one. San Diego Padres, I think they look more like the San Diego Chargers. No, the Chargers are not in San Diego anymore, but they look more like a football team than a baseball team last night. I think they scored like 24 runs. Crazy output there. They're against Patrick Corbin today. And again, this is another game where there's about a 70% chance of rain up until first pitch, and that doesn't taper off until like 10 o'clock. So will they wait really late and get in? I don't know. I would not touch Blake Snell here. He's just, it's Snell no, pretty much. He's just not been a good pitcher recently. And Corbin, he's got beaten up too a little bit, but he's okay. But I still wouldn't consider playing either one of these pitchers. For the bats, San Diego, they would be my second favorite stack if this doesn't rain out. And for the Nationals, I think they're still a good cheap stack because their prices are sub 4K, sub 3K for a lot of the players here against Snell. If he does struggle, I think you get a lot of great matchups, especially the leadoff guy for 2.9K. Orioles in Kansas City, hey, no weather, yay. But still interested in these players as maybe like cheap fill-ins in lineups. Brad Keller at 5.9K, I think is an interesting punt as pitcher. I'm okay with him if you're going really low for SP2 to try to get fit in some expensive bats. It's pretty much for that game. Got a good pitching matchup in Cincinnati. Yes, it's a Great American Small Park, but Brandon Woodruff got pushed back a day. He's scheduled to pitch here. So hopefully that is true because I think he's the best pitcher on the slate. I know he's up against the Reds, but he's seemed to be matchup proof, even park proof. I'd lock him in as my SP1 if I can afford him, because you've got some very, very expensive stacks today to consider also. And there's not that many stacks to consider. So with a game in Coors, which has the Dodgers, we'll let the cat out of the bag. You're going to be paying up for the bats that you probably need on this slate. Because if they go off like, I mean, they pretty much went off last night, but nobody went off like San Diego. And Toronto went off also. So if they're the only ones that go off, you're going to need pieces of that. So we're going to have to try to figure out in our lineup building session at the end of this video how to do that. Luis Castillo on the other side of the he's actually been decent recently, and he actually faced Milwaukee not too long ago. I think he put up like 20 DK points, was it? Let's see here. He faced him last time out, and he had 16.5, so not quite 20. So I think he might be an option. Milwaukee has struggled at times. I know it's a ballpark upgrade, but I think this is definitely probably going to be a pitching matchup, hopefully definitely dominated by Woodruff more than Castillo, but I think Castillo is definitely in play, and I'm not really interested in any of the bats unless you are building a contrarian line, hoping one of these pitchers is popular and gets blown up, and then you'll get low ownership on the stack. Boston and New York, you have Evaldi and Garrett Cole. Again, this game I do not think is going to play. It looks like it's seeing like 95% chance of rain during first pitch. So if it does play, Garrett Cole is an interesting GPP play. We'll see if the Houston game is if he's back to form or if that was just an outlier. Valdi on the other side isn't great, but neither have been the Yankees. I'm pretty sure they got shut out again last night. It's just even hard to watch him right now. I don't know with COVID if Judge and Michelle are still going to be out of the lineup. What's going on if other people are affected? So if the game does play, Cole GPP, Valdi GPP. I would also look at potentially taking a Boston stack against Cole and some cheap pieces on the Yankees. But these are just GPP plays. I wouldn't play them in cash. Houston Astros and the Chicago White Sox, another game we don't have to worry about weather. Yay. You have Odorizzi and Giolito. Neither pitcher is anything special. Giolito has struggled. I don't really want, even if he was a decent pitcher, the Astros are a great offense. They're a patient offense. They don't really strike out much. So I'm not really interested in there because they're not really great to play against for DFS purposes. And Odorizzi on the other side has been shaky too, and he's a reverse splits pitcher, and this team is really good against left-handed pitching usually. So a right-hander that's a reverse split, that's not something that I really feel comfortable playing him against. There's other guys in the 7K range that I like better. Either one, I think they're GPP stacks. If you're going with the White Sox, again, go with the righties, even though Odorizzi is a righties, reverse splits. And then Houston on the other side, if you want to play some of the lefties like Brantley, Alvarez, Tucker, throw them in there. Again, it's a good hitting team. They only have a 4.25 total. It's pretty much pick 'em game. So again, it's probably a stack and a like 20 max GPP if you're going that way. Another pitching matchup is Anthony DeSclafani and Young Kim for the St. Louis Cardinals. DeSclafani has been decent. He's 9.4. He's think he'd be my second favorite pitcher on the slate, underneath Woodruff. And Kim, I actually like him. I think he's going to be my SP2 tonight. I know I love the Giants. We played the Giants a lot, but they're pretty much built to have a lot of lefties against right-handed pitching. They do have some righties that they can throw in there that are good, like Slater and Flores and Ruff. But still, I just look at the bottom of the lineup and I just really don't like it. And Kim has been solid recently. He has had 3 games straight, 20 DK points, and one of them was against the Giants. So I really like the price at 6.5. He opens up a lot. So he's my SP2 tonight. Tampa Bay and Atlanta, there's about a 45 to 50% chance of rain in this game, so it looks a little bit better than the other one. Josh Fleming against Max Fried. Max Fried has been shaky a little bit recently, but against Tampa Bay with a high K rate, I'm willing to try to go back there in cash, or not in cash, but he's not going to be my SP2 in cash, but I think you could do him in like a GPP, or I don't know. It all depends on your build. I think Fried is a good pitcher. I think he just had a couple bad outings. I don't think it has anything to do with the stickum. I think he'll get back to form. 15 to 20 DK points here at 7.8. That's good. So he's okay for cash, but he's not one of my favorite cash plays. Bats on this one. Fleming's been hit around a little bit, so I could take some of the Braves bats, especially Adriana. I know he wasn't in last night, but he should possibly be in here with leading off. If he is switch hitter, 2K, love him. Hope he does get the start there. Even if it's Almonte, like he was relatively cheap last night too. I think he was only like 2.3 or 2.4, so definitely works out. If you want to play some of the Rays right-handed bats against Fried, I'm fine with that too, but I'm looking more probably for pieces here than actually full stacks. Now we come to Coors. We have the Dodgers and the Colorado Rockies. Dodgers, definitely love them here. Kyle Freeland is one of the worst pitchers in baseball in Coors Field, so sign me up there. Walker Buehler, like I said yesterday with Urias, I think you can play him as a GPP because the Rockies have struggled at times. He's a decent pitcher, so I'm okay playing him there. The Colorado bats would probably be my favorite GPP stack just because there really don't have too many great hitting situations or great weather situations tonight. And it is Coors, and Sometimes the lefties are better and some of the righties, and Story can hit usually both sides of the plate. So if you want to do a stack of like Tapia, Blackman, Story, McMahon, I think that works out really well. The catcher is a lefty also. So if you want to do like kind of a wraparound stack, I completely get that. And for the Dodgers, you have so many great options here. Even like Muncy and Bellinger, without the splits advantage, are still great hitters, and you'll probably get to the bullpen pretty fast. So then, splits advantage doesn't really matter once you get the starter out, because it could be anybody coming in at that point, and they're not really good. Final game is another decent pitching matchup. You have Alex Cobb and Kikuchi. I think either one of them could be okay. I'd probably side with Cobb a little bit more than Kikuchi. But bat wise, if you want to take some one-offs from the Angels, Fletcher, I think he's up to a 26-game hitting streak. He had like 3 hits last night to 5 at bats. I think he's had maybe 40 DK points in the last 2 games, not in one game, but total combined. So if you can fit him in at second base, like I just keep on playing this guy. This is one of the most solid, consistent guys I've seen in a long time. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at. Running through the pitchers again. Woodruff, DeSclafani would be my favorite 2 in the high-priced one. Cole and Walker, GPP, but I don't know if Cole's going to play. For medium, I would say like Fried, Kikuchi, Cobb, Castillo would be my favorite ones in the medium range. Evaldi, if that game plays, as a GPP. And low, I like Kim. And then Corbin and Keller, I think, are interesting putts. I think I'd play Keller over Corbin just because they're against that San Diego offense, unless their arms are really tired from hitting all those hits and home runs last night. That's entirely possible. So let's look at my lineup construction, and we'll get you on to your weekend. Like I said, I'm building this in reverse today. I'm going to build my Dodgers stack first. So I'm going to take my 2K catcher. I'm going to take Rivera's right now. There's like 4 actually 2K catchers that are slated to play. So there's probably a ton of options there. So if Rivera's game gets rained out, there's other guys that you could just throw right in here, but I'm just picking him because he's got the splits advantage against Corbin. For my Dodgers stack, definitely taking the righties. I'm taking Betts. I'm taking Turner. I'm going to throw Muncy in there too, because again, like the splits advantage, I'm fine. But if you don't want to go with him, I completely understand that. If you want to throw Fletcher at second base and take another right-handed Dodger bat, fine with that. Pujols, I think, is a must. He should be starting with right-hander at 3-4. It's a great price for him. Taylor probably batting second. You can throw him at shortstop or second base. If you don't take Muncy, you might be able to throw like Story in there. And then that leaves you your other starting pitcher and your 2 outfield spots. If you punt both outfield spots, you actually, depending on how you go with your lineup, if you drop down to like Bellinger, you can get guys in like the upper 2.5 range, but there are guys that are going to be 2K that possibly could be starting out there that would allow you enough salary to get up to Woodruff. If not, if you go to Scafani, if you play around a little bit more, you should be able to get some mid-range outfield bats in there. Again, if you use the core of just Betts, Taylor, Turner, and Pujols, and then if you go down, if you play like one of the cheaper Dodger bats in there, I said Fletcher's a great second base option there. If you don't go Muncy, that opens up enough salary that you're getting like 3K outfielders. So pretty slim pickings with the weather potentially. So you really got to keep an eye on that. So again, but I think Dodgers are head and shoulders the top stack, and I think Kim's a great place to start with an SP2. And beyond that, just let the pieces fall. And last night was very successful, and hopefully tonight is for you too. So thanks for watching. Give us a like, subscribe to our channel. Then you'll know when all our videos are coming out, or hit me up on Twitter at Megular31, and we'll see you later.